want to give a shout out to the Hawkeye faithful. What a great college basketball environment. It was loud. It was intense. And when we looked at our schedule before we started Big Ten play or when the Big Ten season was announced, there's certain games you would rather see earlier in the slate versus later because certain teams are going to they're going to improve exponentially and be really, really tough to play against later in the season. And Iowa was one team that we had circled as a group that we knew they wouldn't be the same team in November, December that they would be in March. And that's a good basketball team. Obviously, the respect we have for the coaching staff and their players is immense. And very, very fortunate and proud to get out of here with a win.
James, you want to start us off? Yeah, can you just speak to how you guys were able to pull this one out, and in particular, Roddy's two key defensive plays?
Yeah, in my mind, it was three key defensive plays. He had the block. Then he came up with the loose ball. But that's our guys. They just stay ready. Different guys step up every night. And when you look at the contributions from our group, there's nights when I wish we would have got Merez more shots, and you wish Yax would have got more shots. And the guys never complain. They never roll their eyes when the play's not for them. They trust each other. They trust the staff, and their ability to simply give to the group and support each other and stay ready is why we were able to go through this road slate unbeaten.
Yeah, and then obviously, you just mentioned the record, the Big Ten record. What does it say about this group, what you guys have been able to do?
It shows that they're really connected and they have each other's backs because you don't go into the environments that we went into this year and win if you don't have great poise, you don't have great togetherness, and you're able to have great emotional regulation. You're frustrated because of this, the crowd's going against you, and to be able to get yourself back to neutral and centered is a skill that our guys have improved on greatly, and they continue to. And when they don't, I think they do a great job of the five guys on the floor of getting whoever's starting to splinter or become too emotional, they get them back reeled in, and we just keep playing. We just get to the next thing.
Right in the middle, coach.
16 turnovers in the first half, only 2 in the second half. What was Iowa's defense doing to you guys in the first half that was causing those, and then what did you guys fix in the second half?
I mean, they were, when we told our guys, you don't see, and I say this, I've been coaching 25 years, and as an assistant, as a video guy, whatever, and I don't know if I've seen a group, I should say, Coach McCollum's teams are as active with their hands and aggressive to the ball as any team that I've ever seen. There's some that do it a little bit differently, but if you relax for half a second or you expose the ball, they're going after it. And so our first catch on offense, the game plan, I didn't do a great job. Our first catch needed to be clean, where there's a little bit of space and separation. And if there is, then we're not on our heels and there's less gap pressure. So I think our spacing improved. We set a few more screens just to loosen them up, and then we were able to use our speed and quickness. Because in the first half, when we tried to use it, we were driving in, we call it Hornet's Nest, just bad spacing, just a cluster. And like I said, they're aggressive to the ball, and they have great instincts, and they're well schooled.
You mentioned the experience you guys have had playing in all these different environments. What about tonight's environment maybe stuck out to you in ways that you either didn't expect and prepare for, or different than some of the other Big Ten environments this year?
I've played here a few times on the coaching side. Never played, obviously, but I've coached here before, and this was, I grew up watching Dr. Tom Davis's teams, man. Those guys, the pressing, the energy. So, like, my perception of Iowa basketball is this, and with what they have going on now, it's going to look like this it's going to look like this frequently, in my opinion. I don't know how it's been. I've watched a few games and whatnot, and there's sometimes scheduling causes it to not be this, but I was very impressed. This is like a really good Big Ten environment, and it's only going to get better. And so all of us in our league have to elevate our play, our recruiting, our teaching, our coaching, because this league is a monster.
Stay on your right, coach.
Yeah, coach, you faced a lot of great teams and a lot of great players. I just want to know your thoughts on Dennis Sturz, seeing him in person for the first time.
Actually, I saw Bennett as probably a freshman or sophomore in their side gym at Northwest Missouri State when Coach and I used to share practice film and watch each other's practices in the summer when I was at FAU and he was at Northwest. And I remember asking him, "Hey, who's this herky-jerky white kid that looked like he's playing on the second team?" And he said, "Oh, he's going to be really good." And that was early on. I bet it was freshman or sophomore year. And he had game, but just the don't even know what the stamina that he has to go a game and not take bad shots, hit hard shots, and just keep everyone involved, use his leverage to get his teammates easy baskets. I thought we did a nice job overall of not letting his leverage get the other guys their easy baskets, their keepers, and what slips and whatnot. So I thought ultimately it was the difference in the game. And then we, because of our athleticism and versatility defensively, we share the responsibility of guarding him one-on-one and trying to deny his catches and make him work 94 feet and all the things just to try to get to his legs a little bit for the last 5 to 8 minutes. And because we have so many options with Yaxel's length and athleticism, and Merez did a nice job on him, and Elliott is a speed and quickness. So I think just the fact that we have so many different options we can throw at him ultimately allowed us to force him to have one of his more inefficient games.
We'll take the two more right here.
Dusty, last Friday you're in Champaign. Morez goes back there. It's a raucous environment. Is always a great team. One you can play once or twice more the rest of the season. Same thing here. You're great environment. One of the better players in the country. How is it your team stays so poised and the environment doesn't seem to impact them? And what does it say about the way you coach them, but then also the way that they've come together? Because most of them came through the portal recently.
I think number one that's a misnomer. When you look at the amount of guys that came in the portal this year, it's 4, and I think that's actually that's probably below the average. And then you factor in that we're in year 2. I don't know how many players did coach bring in the portal or out of the high school ranks. Like when you inherit a program, you just don't have 10 guys returning. And so it's a little bit of a misnomer. So we brought in 4 guys, and from day one, they were very excited to play with each other, and they had such a respect for each other that they really couldn't complain about this or that because, man, like in practice, the first week, Yaxel came to practice, and Merez Johnson's, playing him. And Merez plays like he did today, June 15th, July 28th, August 29th, whatever it is, the day, that's all he knows. And so from the first day they came on campus, like they knew how special we could be, but we also had a nucleus of guys who are about the right stuff. And Trey McKinney's a Mr. Basketball at the state of Michigan that we had to beat a lot of really good teams to get. And then we had Will Cheddar and Namari and LJ Kaysen and Roddy Gale. And so it's a good mix of really of guys that can they teach our culture. They run our locker room. They give our guys all the 1,000 unwritten rules that we have. We don't have a lot of written rules, and so that's a big part of our success. And then tonight, I think we rallied around LJ Kaysen a little bit. We weren't quite as edgy as we typically are in Iowa. The enemy has a vote. Iowa had a lot to do with that, and I thought that was something we rallied around. But we find different things to rally around just to kind of forget about the circumstances and just get that connection back as a group. And I think LJ was a big part of that tonight.
Take one final one.
Mara's about 17 feet from the bucket, 5 seconds, 4, 3. What were your thoughts on that possession? Because that seemed to be one of the really key possessions.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent coaching to wait till the 29.9 seconds. No, we went up 10, and we felt like we were playing really well. And, that's usually the point of the game when we can separate. And then they banked one in that, bang, 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 and then laid up for about 3 more seconds. And so I was like, man, that's a tough break when you're controlling the game. And that kind of got them going. And then for us to give the poetic justice on the other end to get a 7-3 bank at the end of a shot clock, it's a funny game. Obviously we didn't manage that possession very well, but good individual players step up and make good individual plays when they're needed, and that's what happened.
Okay, Coach.